Welcome, everyone, and thank you for joining me and my very special guest. He has one of the greatest voices of his generation, and he's about to release his brand new album called Harmony this November, along with 3 one-of-a-kind, intimate virtual concerts this October, November, and December. Please say hello to multi-platinum recording artist Josh Groban.
Turn down the lights and turn down the bed, 'cause I can't make you love me. If you have a dream, go chase it. If you feel home, don't waste it. The summers die one by one. How soon they fly. Melt your heart.
Hey, Josh, how are you, my friend? And where are you?
I have found myself serendipitously in New York. So I am here. And I am so happy to be back in the city I love so much for not a very long amount of time, but I'm here for as long as I can be. And just even in the 5 minutes I'm here, it's reminding me just how much I love the city and miss it, and want to spend my time here.
Yeah, you know, it's been 6 months since the New York theater shut down. I know it's, you know, I usually give a number like 184 days or 186 days, and sometimes it feels like yesterday and sometimes it feels like a year ago.
I remember the night it happened, and
yeah.
I cannot believe that 6 months have passed already. It's incredible. Yeah, I have so many friends in the Broadway community and beyond that have been feeling this, and I've never been more inspired by the steadfastness of the community. It's the support, the willingness to break outside the boundaries of the theater to continue to express and to create has been nothing short of inspirational. And I know that when it comes back bigger and stronger than ever, this horrible trauma of a year will have only strengthened the resolve of every one of those brilliant performers to go out and do it better than they've ever done it before. So it has been an insane time, to say the least.
Yeah. How have you been dealing with like the isolation aspect? Was that ever a problem for you early on?
Well, early on, I think there was a bit of a honeymoon period because I am a naturally born introvert in spite of my job. I feel like I've been preparing for this my whole life, as far as just my ability to just, you know, I think it comes from touring, honestly. I've spent, can you see me?
Yeah, I see you.
There. Okay. I had a low battery thing. Hope we make it. I've spent so much time in a tour bus, in a dressing room, in a recording studio, in a hotel room, that I think just from 18 years of being a solo artist in a very solo life, being by myself is not anything new, you know? And so, it's been a time of reflection. What is new is not having anything on the calendar, you know. So that's a new thing for all of us. And so for those of us, especially in this society where we're all kind of looking to what's next, for all of us to just have kind of a mandatory timeout can be both really taxing on mental health and also really freeing in some ways. And so I've tried to drift more towards the freedom of that and less on the anxiety of that. And so while there have been some dark days for sure, it's also given me an opportunity to just reflect, meditate, write, read, be a fan, listen, and just support, you know, my fellow friends and artists. And so that's been, you know, again, nice for a time. Yeah. And I think we're all at a point now where through sheer willpower of finding ways to like burst out of the seams and figure out ways to connect, to explore, to create during these times. And so these live streams are an attempt to do that in the ways that we can. And we're really, really excited about them. We did one in June, and it was just better than we could have ever expected. So many people tuned in, 63 countries, thousands of people tuned in. And so even though I couldn't hear the applause afterwards, I knew they were there. The responses I got were so incredible. So we decided to do 3 more, all very, very different. And of course, we're starting with my love of Broadway. So what better way to begin?
Well, let's talk about the first one. So the first one is your Broadway Favorites on October 3rd. What are some of the songs you're going to be doing? Tell us.
Well, I mean, it's always hard to pick a Broadway night because there are so many eras of Broadway, so many eras that I've lived through and eras that I wasn't around for that I wish I'd lived through. And so the good news is we have like a little bit of a stepping stone with a Broadway album and a Broadway show. So I have some songs that have been requested a lot from either one of those two things. And then we've gotten some requests of songs from shows that I've never been in, songs that I've never sung before. And then of course, when you have a live stream and you have a lot of an easier time kind of maneuvering through a live stream than if you're doing an arena show. And when you decide to change songs, 50 people have to know and everything shifts around you. We can just, we can take our time and have fun. And my pianist, Mark Stevens, and my guitarist, Tara Cocconi, they're so agile. We could just have fun doing whatever. And so this is going to be a way for me to share that love with so many other countries, to be able to express these songs that I love so much to so many more people than I would normally be able to do during a normal in-person show of Broadway songs. So having that responsibility and that opportunity to do that and to share that with both fans of me that are learning about Broadway songs or fans of Broadway that are learning more about me, it's a great marriage.
I love it because I love the clips. Your website, by the way, is phenomenal. It is
good.
So calming, and so just to listen to you sing is so great. And the promos you have up there for these concerts are wonderful. And I mean, kicking off with the Broadway one, I mean, you do the prayer, you do Bring Him Home from, Les Mis. Is Jean Valjean a dream role of yours in Les Mis?
Of course. I mean, I've been dreaming of doing Valjean since since I was at Interlochen. I remember me and one of my best friends, Ben Epstein, we were both theater majors at Interlochen Arts Camp, and we would sit out on the benches every day between classes and just sing through the confrontation, and I would always take the Valjean part, even though I was the baritone. I would take the Valjean part. But singing, I got to say, singing Bring Him Home every night has increased my range exponentially. And so, whereas before I wasn't sure if I could perhaps handle that role, now it would be a dream to do.
Just watching you last night, I was like, oh my gosh, I see this so in your future of you doing this anytime you want to do it.
That'd be a blast.
Talk about the second concert. The second concert takes place on November 26th, which is the album, right? Highlights from the album?
Yeah. So the new album was one that I started working on kind of right before the pandemic started, and I had about half the songs decided on, at least some of them recorded. And I kind of do one and one. I like to do a fully original music album with a couple of covers, and then I'll do one that's like songs I've wanted to sing forever with a couple of originals. And this is that one. These are songs that have been requested by the fans for a long time. Songs with just the most tremendous arrangements I've ever sung to. Some of the most challenging singing I've ever done. And so this album was an escape for me, to be able to just put on the interpretive hat and dive headfirst into these gorgeous, timeless songs, as well as including a couple of songs that became very poignant to me that I wrote that I was not expecting to write during this time. It's an album that I'm really so proud of and pleased with. And so that concert will be songs from the album that fans will have heard at that point, and then also songs from previous albums. That'll kind of be an everything concert. And then after that, I'll be doing my first ever Christmas concert, which is crazy to say that, but I've never done one. And we're going to do it virtually this year because there are so many families around the world that can't be home for the holidays. And so it's our hope that that's a night when everybody can at least click a link and share something together during the holidays.
Because that's December 19th. And when I read that, it was Josh Groban's first ever holiday concert. I'm like,
Yeah.
we all grew up the same way. I grew up on vinyl. So I used to go to the stores and get, all the holiday albums, Barbra Streisand and Andy Williams and Perry
Sure.
Como and,
Yeah.
I mean, and watch the TV specials. This must be so incredible for you to do this. And like you said, to do it for everybody around the world at the same time on the same night.
It's a special opportunity. It's one that I hope we don't have to have again by necessity, but a reason to bring these songs out and to hopefully bring people a little closer together during this holiday season. And so I was thrilled that we were able to cap off this trio of shows with my first time doing that kind of a show.
Yeah. Everyone I've spoken to over the past few months, this is the new now. We're used to I'm connecting with you like eye to eye on an iPhone or on a computer.
Yeah.
But I think when we come back, I think we're going to be so focused on just the moment that we're in and not looking towards next week or something else. It's going to be that human contact. Don't you think it's going to be that way?
I certainly hope so. I think there's so much pain and so much trauma that we can't wait to expel from our beings after this is done. But I think some of the silver linings that I've spoken about a bunch that we can take with us, hopefully, is that connectivity and that desire to keep things simple with that connectivity, to appreciate what we have and to appreciate that what matters most to us are the simplest things. Are we expressing ourselves in ways that we want? Are we, close with our family? Are we making sure that our friends are taken care of? Are we fulfilling our truest selves no matter what the hedonic treadmill makes us feel like we need to accomplish on any given day? Are we us? And when everybody, like I said, has to time out at the same time, all we have left is, are we us? And it shows the character of a lot of people, and some of that character has not been so savory, in some people, but it certainly gives us a lot of lessons that I think are valuable to take with us during a time of otherwise great sadness.
I also love that you're offering so many exciting watching packages to watch your concerts. It's like actually going to getting a VIP package or a behind the scenes package. And what's great about what you're doing is they're all so affordable. And I'm sure
we wanted everybody to be able to take part in this, and it's so great for me to be able to, employ my band and crew and this does need to become now the idea of reinvigorating the music economy and the touring economy again. And so we definitely wanted this to be exceedingly affordable. We obviously have different tiers where people can decide they can do a Zoom beforehand or buy a t-shirt, one of which goes to my Arts Education Foundation. But the vast majority of tickets sold for this are going to be $20 a view. And considering how many people might be sitting around with you and viewing it, that could be $1 a person. So, so we really wanted to make sure that it was the kind of thing that we could make sure that everybody was compensated, but make sure everybody could still feel like they were doing it, because it still isn't the real thing. It is still not being able to perform at Radio City Music Hall or be there in person. There is something that is so special about that we cannot wait to bring back. I cannot wait to greet these fans face to face again. But in the meantime, this is the best we can do. And we wanted the price to reflect that.
Well, I love it because all the prices, I mean, you can do a sound check access with you, a Q&A with you. And I'm like, it's so affordable. This is so great. People can wear a Josh Groban t-shirt and everything else and watch you make your magic. Josh, so many people were supposed to make their Broadway debuts this spring, and then the pandemic hit. And I'm sure, like you said, when the theater comes back bigger and better than ever, I hope they get to do that. Broadway debuts only happen once. Yours was so magical. I got your poster behind me. I mean,
I know, I see it. Thank you. Yeah.
How incredible was your Broadway debut? What did that night mean to you?
Man, Richard, I mean, my heart breaks for any of those performers that around that time were waiting to take their first step out, because it will happen. I say to those that might be watching that are devastated by the fact that their moment got not canceled, but postponed. that how much that means. I have stepped foot on almost every stage in the world, and none was more important to me in my life, and none will ever be as important to me as the first step I got to take onto the Broadway stage for an audience as a Broadway performer. And so I fully recognize just what a powerful moment that is, because, you know, for so many of us that love the theater, you know, you don't really fall up into the theater. In a lot of the other industries, certainly in music, I got an incredible break. I had to walk through the door. I had to show it. But, you know, a lot of times it's a, hey, Mr. Producer, and oh my God, I can't believe I fell into this thing, and oh, look, an Oscar. You know, it's exceedingly hard work in all the other industries. You cannot get to that level without putting in, I'm not discounting that, but I will say, and I was talking to James Corden about this when Sarah Bareilles and I hosted the Tonys, about what's the room like. And he kind of expressed it in the way that we all feel, which is that everybody in that room has wanted to be there since they were little. Everyone in that room is without anything in their head except, this is hard work. I want this because it matters to me, and I'm going to support every single person in every seat in this room, whether I win or not, because we love this community. And that's something that makes the theater community, I think, solely unique within entertainment, and a reason why whenever I've been able to step foot, you know, it's been my dream.
Josh, I would love for you to talk about your incredible foundation, Find Your Light.
Yes. Well, speaking of being fortunate, you know, and having big breaks, I felt that one of my favorite things that I was able to do once I had somewhat of a pedestal to shout from is make sure that my story and how important arts education was to me in my life, and life-saving it was for me, that opportunity was given to other kids that have not been as lucky. And so my fans, who are some of the most philanthropic, you know, just open-hearted fans, I'm so grateful that it's never been just enough for them to sing along, that they want to involve themselves in the charity aspect. This started because of them. They gave me a jumbo check at a concert at the Greek Theater in Los Angeles in like 2004. They'd raised money, thousands of dollars, raised money selling autographs of mine and all kinds of things. And they said, well, here, we want you to, if you start a foundation one day, we want this to be the first check towards your foundation. And I was so moved by that. And so all these years later, the Find Your Light Foundation is a grant-oriented foundation that makes sure that organizations in school, out of school, young people in this country, now more than ever, that those programs don't fall through the cracks, that any organization that is providing a safe haven for young people to express themselves and to learn about who they are and learn more about the world through their creative expression and using the arts as a tool, gets to have those opportunities. And so we're supporting a lot of programs in a myriad of ways, but it's been the great joy of my life and career to be able to have a platform to raise awareness for arts education. There are a million incredible causes we need to all support all the time, as I do, but my story wouldn't have been possible without arts ed, and the more people that I talk to in every facet of society have pulled me aside and said, if I didn't have that teacher, if I didn't have that arts class, that song to sing, that play to be part of, that their life would have taken a very different path. And so it's not necessarily about talent finding. If you find somebody that winds up, you know, becoming the next big whatever, that's a great bonus. And for a lot of people, not having the chance to discover that is tragic too, because I would have never known. But for the vast majority of the people we're helping, it's a life tool. They go into all kinds of things in their lives, but having the foundation of the arts let them understand more about themselves and more about the world in a more empathic and humanist way. And certainly in these times, I think it's something we need more than ever. So Find Your Light is a foundation that we love, and people can find out more at findyourlightfoundation.org if they want to give a few bucks.
Beautiful. My final question is, I love to watch you on social. I see you already voted. Would you just, everybody tuning, would you just tell them how important this election is going to be in November and why people should register and vote?
We are living in warp speed, real time, the consequences of what a vote can do, the devastating consequences of what a vote can do to our environment, to our society, to our fellow human beings. And when I look back and I see that 100 million people chose to opt out of voting in the last election, it's inexcusable. And I know that part of that comes from hopelessness. It comes from not feeling like your vote really matters. It comes from cynicism. You think, certainly what's mine going to do, you know? And we've learned that lesson. We've been through that road now. We have a very, very tragic lesson to learn from that. And so this is a test right now, because we do have a pandemic. People are scared to go out to the polls. People are scared to express themselves online. People are scared of the attacks. People are scared in a myriad of ways that I understand make people, you know, want to just say, I'll let other people, other people can handle this, you know, but we can't be complacent. Everybody who's watching this, please, please, please learn about when your ballot needs to be mailed. That's when most of these votes are going to be mail ballots. And that means that November is too late. So please find out when your local voting is happening. And then voting for president isn't just it. The change we want to see in the world comes down to the governments underneath that. It comes down to voting for your local officials, voting for your police chief, voting for all these other things. And it's important. So it's the most important thing right now. So please, I know I'm spewing on, but vote. Our lives do depend on it.
Thank you for that, my friend Josh. This has been great. Thank you for dropping by Broadway World today. I thank you very much.
It's my absolute pleasure, Richard. I'm so glad we got to talk again, and can't wait to get back on the boards one day.
Until we see you the next time, everybody, stay safe and wear a mask. Take care, Josh.